This episode brought to you by Chime, the award-winning app and debit card that can save you money today. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Guess a lot of people have opinions about this. There's movies most people can agree on, either being really good or a cinematic proctology disappointment. But then there's movies like Hoodwinked that people seem to be all over the map on. Released in 2005, the film played off the popular trope of retelling fairy tales from a different point of view. A lot of people were even calling this a rip-off Shrek at the time, but really it was a pretty popular trope even before then. I've heard everything from people loving this movie to people despising it, and I don't know, thought it was okay. Alright, admittedly, I did not have any interest in seeing this movie because, well, look at it. I'd like to say this looks like a direct-to-video film today, but let's be honest, you'd buy it on video, look at the quality, and throw it in the dollar bin immediately after buying it. This is one of the cheapest looking animated films released on the big screen. Clearly there was little money put into it aside from a few kinda big names at the time. But after a friend told me there were surprisingly a few laughs in it, I checked it out and that sums it up. There's plenty of cringy moments too, but for a movie that clearly didn't have much of a budget, I think it did well for the little it had. There's a lot of weirdness to talk about, so let's jump right into it. This is going to age well and not age well at the same time, Hoodwinked. The movie opens with a narrator, played by Ogden Stiers, starting this exactly how you think a film like this would start, saying you don't know the real story of Little Red Riding Hood.
It's just like they always say, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Okay, here's a perfect example of why this film isn't lazy, it's just cheap. You could have just opened the book to a picture from the film and it starts. No one would complain. But it's a pop-up book, you fly into the pop-up book, and the pop-up book slowly becomes reality. That is trying harder than a film with this budget needs to, and little moments like that do add up. With that said, yeah, it does look like Elf Bowling 5.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, sure thing, come on in.
We see Red Riding Hood, played by Anne Hathaway. After these, but before these, so she wasn't quite the megastar yet. And she approaches the Big Bad Wolf, played by Patrick Warburton. Warburton's one of my favorite voices to listen to. His delivery is unlike any other. And imagining him doing this old lady voice in a recording booth is kinda my everything.
Who are you?
I'm your grandma. Now come on over here, let's have a look at you.
I don't know, he could pass for a drunk B. Arthur.
What big hands you have.
All the better to scratch my back with.
What big ears you have.
All the better to hear your many criticisms.
That's a really good line.
All right.
Ah!
He reveals himself just as a tied-up granny in the closet jumps out, and the hunter bursts in. Random spot for the title, but I guess we are randomly stealing Roger Rabbit's font, so it's kind of a random moment. The police are called, led by the narrator, a detective named Nicky Flippers.
Well, someone hibernated on the wrong side of the cave.
I'll give credit, an amphibian walking a dog is the only thing that can out-weird this concept. And if you're like me, you thought this movie was dead on arrival with this joke.
Why do they call you Flippers?
No reason.
You know the phrase, disco's dead? Disco jokes should follow. So the film is sort of a play on Rashomon. Red Shaman, I don't know, I should let them make the corny jokes. Each suspect is called into a room to tell their side of the story, starting with Red.
Here's a story I hope you'll like.
Okay, I'm gonna say at the start this isn't a good musical. Not because this song is particularly bad, but because I completely forgot this was a musical. Any film that makes me forget that did something wrong.
Can someone show me a different day?
Up to food fight you go. Oh, I can't say that. Their pupils at least move in this movie.
Oh, nice outfit. Always red with you.
She sees her friend named Boingo, a bunny played by Andy Dick. Remember him from Little Red Riding Hood? He did it.
Aren't you helping the Muffin Man today?
Someone took all his recipes last night.
Are you still running the cable car?
Yeah.
His detailed backstory emphasizes more how little he plays into some master plan. Not really, anyone could be the villain in this.
Shut it down.
She knows there's a bunch of businesses going out of business because of a goody bandit stealing a lot of places' recipes. Red is afraid her granny, played by Glenn Close, might have her recipe stolen next, but she's not too worried about it.
Please, dear, you just keep the recipes there and everything will be fine.
Yeah, keep the fear where it should be, like on this creepy hellbird.
You can't go away. Who's gonna ride the goodie bike?
I'm just a kid.
I'm just the woodpecker.
If Uncanny Valley had an animatronic, he'd be the little bird on the shoulder. Red decides to take the hidden recipes from her home to Granny's, assuming they'll be safer there, which isn't exactly the greatest hiding place. It's kind of like taking the first drawing of Mickey Mouse from the Disney Museum to Disney's house. I think someone's gonna look there. And she runs into Boingo operating a cable car.
They're gonna shut down everyone in the forest if we're not careful.
No!
Your hints to him being evil are about as subtle as a guy named Doom being a villain. She lands okay, but she runs into the wolf who wants her recipes.
You can't hold on to those recipes forever!
My off-screen fall to save on animation can only go so far!
But we don't arrest people for being creepy.
Yeah, Bruce, know that guy we got in the tank?
The creepy one?
Yeah, better let him go.
Huh, I was wondering why I haven't seen him in a bit. She makes her way to a goat who by far has the best design in the movie, and one of the funnier jokes about why he always sings.
The mountain witch done put a spell on me 37 years ago, and now I gotta sing everything I say.
Still doesn't make it a good musical. Wait, what am I talking about? Hearing all the horns this thing has is incredibly important to the plot. With that said though, these horns are pretty funny.
I got horns that hang my other horns to be prepared. Be prepared, be prepared.
I don't think of any other anime film when a song sings "Be Prepared" over and over. I'll pretend you didn't show that. He takes her via minecart to a shortcut to Grandma's house. Clearly the one in Looney Tunes was more efficient. They literally go off the rails when suddenly Granny appears telling her to use her hood.
What? I was prepared!
No, really, I want a Mega Man-style game based on his horns. She makes it to Grandma's house and everything we saw earlier takes place. They ask the wolf his side of the story and, again, Warburton really knows how to make a good line work.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Wolf?
I'm a shepherd.
God, that's funny. It turns out he's a reporter going undercover to find the identity of the Goody Bandit.
As more recipes go missing, the trail has gotten hotter.
Huh? He's not played by a real black wolf. I don't know what I'm supposed to be offended by anymore. He suspects Red might be moving the goodies for the bandits, so he has an accomplice follow her. I can't figure out if the animation on the sped-up character is really good or really bad.
Undercover, got it. Yeah, nobody sees, nobody knows. Click, click.
Why not both? He disguises himself as a sheep. Come on, you knew that was coming at some point. And he tries to get some information.
Who does she work for?
How should I know? I ain't that curious. The word in the herd is she's been known to take the cable car up the mountain.
Now I'm just wondering if the rest of the sheep in this herd look like the Sopranos. He encounters Red like before, but we find his attack was just a reaction to his tail getting caught. At this point, you can put together a lot of the story is going to be playing off of what you just saw was motivated by something different. But the creative and outlandish ways they incorporate it is what makes it pretty fun. Plus, some of these lines really are great.
So, can we eat?
Sure. You hungry for failure?
Oh, you saw the red wave too? Boingo helps him get to Granny's, but not through the best shortcut.
Why couldn't I write movie reviews?
It's not always great. Finding the best spot for commercials can sometimes be
Have you checked your credit score?
No, I haven't.
Why?
Because you're a seal.
Everybody's doing it as soon as they wake up.
Nobody's doing it when they wake up, seal.
You're a liar.
You're a seal.
How could anybody not do that?
Because that's what Chime does. With their secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build credit over time. Their members see an increase of 30 points on average. All of this with no annual fees, large security deposits, or credit checks to apply.
Is that amazing?
Yes.
I don't know because I'm a seal.
Get out of my house.
No.
Okay. You can start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/nostalgia. That's chime.com/nostalgia.
Can I say something really fast?
As long as it's really fast.
Okay.
The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank A.A. Pursuant to a license from Visa USA, Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some users' scores may not improve.
Seal?
Yes, dear?
I hate it when we fight.
I don't even know who you are.
Finds his way to the minecart Red was on, but accidentally blows it up.
Wow, that's nice and bright. What kind of candles are those?
Must be Italian.
We'll get enough Christmas story callbacks with this, thank you. They get out okay and make it to Grandma's house, where the mask and dress, it turns out, is just merchandise from her being a hit baker. I'm sorry, but this is pretty creative.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, sure thing.
Again, everything goes as before, and they bring in the hunter, played by Jim Belushi, to tell his side of the story.
I can do the cowboy accent. Howdy, partner.
I apologized to the bird earlier. This is clearly the scariest character in the movie. He looks like a killer clown from outer space without the makeup.
Paul's Bunyan cream has the soothing formula.
How?
He says he's actually not a hunter at all, but an actor who's auditioning for a Paul Bunyan cream.
Arg? What are you, some kind of German pirate or something? We'll look at your tape and we'll give you a call, okay? Thanks for coming in. Have a nice life.
Gex was a bitter director after his video game career never took off. He doesn't get the role, so he goes back to his job driving a schnitzel truck.
For little girls and boys to eat, Schnitzel Man can serve them quick.
So this is an unplay level of We Happy Few, correct? Again, this film would totally fall apart if this musical number wasn't included. They were told to add songs at the last minute, weren't they? Nobody will make it if it's not a musical, huh? Hey Frank, you remember that schnitzel song we made up when we were drunk? Put on sheet music, will ya? His truck is robbed, and you're still having trouble with the suspects dwindling down?
Maybe someday somebody will open up a great big goodie shop and we can all work for that little guy.
It'll be called Schnitzspicious. He gets called back to the audition, so he trains harder to become a convincing woodsman. He messes up cutting down a tree, though, and runs to hide, where else? At Grandma's house.
I think it's safe to say that our thespian friend here knows the least about anything of anyone in this room.
We arguably could have just cut this from the film, but we got high and started doing funny voices with Jim Belushi, so we animated it. Granny is the last one called in and gives maybe not the best intro line.
The only crime I've ever committed is making my goodies unlawfully delicious.
Grandma's cookies wishes her goodies were as buttery sweet as mine. She reveals she's really into extreme sports, even getting a triple X tattoo, but with G's, that really cracks me up. And she kept it from Red the whole time. She even enters a snowboarding competition.
You be careful, Gandhi Pocket. Old ladies get hurt on these slopes.
We got an insulting enough accent with Belushi. I will say this is probably the best animation in the film. Yeah, it's clearly not Disney or DreamWorks, but there is some real life to it. It has a lot of energy. She gets thrown off a cliff, but she manages to save herself, still win the competition, and take out the people who tried to axe her. She even runs into Red while parachuting away. Oh, she wasn't flying. The animators just didn't have enough money to animate the parachute. This is making so much more sense now. But how'd she get wrapped up in the closet? That is so dumb. I think it's the biggest laugh I got in the flick. Again, everything goes as you saw before, but Red feels betrayed because she has to stay home and be a delivery girl, while Granny goes out thrill-seeking.
I've never even been outside the forest. Don't you think I want more than that?
Of course you do. You're a bucket.
Hey, PG rating? Oh wait, that means you can get away with one. She still feels betrayed, which, yeah, is a little weak seeing how the bandit is still out there, and I guess we need to mope for a little bit rather than go look for him. But even then, they sneak in a good joke here and there.
Hey, look, it's Little Red.
No, it's just some kid.
She's not wearing the red hood.
There she goes.
Man, this is a place where everyone would fall for Superman's disguise. She sees someone steal her hood and recipes, and yeah, I love how they reveal this like it's carrot sauce. Even the 2-year-olds had this figured out.
And bring in a police sketch artist. No, make it a cartoonist.
Dude, again, this film's trying much harder than it needs to. Another bit of animation that goes the extra mile is when the wolf gives the squirrel coffee to make him go even faster.
Go get him, boy.
Again, in a film where the big picture looks cheap, the little touches can really save the day. Red follows Boingo to his cable car headquarters, but she gets captured.
When you're hopping on down the bunny train.
Is this like song 4? How did these leave so little an impact on me? As you'd guess, he sings about opening his own business, stealing everyone's recipes, and am I insane, or is that the Dragon Ball Z font? Ha! We don't need to stop him. Japan's insane copyright claims will take him down.
You've been hoodwinked, baby.
That's the title of the movie. They're gonna blow her up in the cable car, but Granny and the others sneak in to try and get her out. As you'd imagine, all their talents come into play. Even Red's ability to talk to birds. Yeah, what was her thing again? Oh, escape artist. Yeah, sure, we got like 5 minutes left. Granny and her get out together and the bandits are caught by the cops. And you know, how am I supposed to take this line?
Not prison, not for a cute little bunny rabbit.
The same way he's gonna take whatever happens to him in prison. Okay, I'm thinking too hard about it. Not in that way.
You were really something up there.
I take after my granny.
I lie about everything. Like when people ask me what happened here, it's gonna be way different. Everyone has a happily ever after. In fact, they even try to build a sequel around it.
There's a lot of stories out there that need a happy ending. I'm part of a secret organization that makes sure that happens.
How'd that fare out? Well, this one's okay. I guess I can see how someone wouldn't be into it with its awkward animation and occasional joke that misses. And yeah, similar ideas have been done before, but I really do give credit to this film for what does work. Despite the obvious low budget, you can tell everyone is doing the best with what they have. The actors, the writers, and yes, even occasionally the animation. I don't think it's anything great, but there's way too many good things in it to say it's bad. I honestly think it's an okay film for kids that's given just enough creativity and decent humor for adults. I guess people are all over the map with it, but for me, I think it's a good enough time. I'm a Nostalgia Critic guy, remember, so you don't have to.
Making my goodies unlawfully delicious.
Hey everybody, this month for Cameos for Charity, we're doing Wounded Warriors Family Support. Their mission is to provide support to the families of those who have been wounded, injured, or killed during combat operations. The families of these casualties suffer in many ways, some physically, some psychologically. They offer veteran training to assist in meaningful careers, family retreats, and custom outfitted vehicles and grants to enhance the lives of the wounded vets. Rated a 4-star nonprofit by Charity Navigator, Wounded Warriors Family Support aids veterans and their families in healing the wounds that medicine cannot. So if you want a cameo from me saying happy birthday, congrats, or whatever, click on the link below and know the money is going to a good cause. Or if you're like, screw your face, I would never get a cameo from you, well, consider checking out this charity anyway. It's a wonderful organization to donate to, spread the word about, or even volunteer at. Take a look at all the amazing good people do out there.